The icy world, a space consisting of asteroids, their debris, and small objects, rests near the far reaches of the solar system. This is the Kuiper belt. Kuiper belt. This donut-shaped region, thick and round, expands beyond the orbit of Neptune. It is believed that the belt is a region of leftovers after the formation of the solar system. The Kuiper belt inflamed scientists' minds for a very long time. The first significant achievement of modern technology that helped to study this cluster was the Pioneer 10 space probe, which was created to study Jupiter. Since then, about a dozen more spacecraft have passed through the Kuiper belt. Even so, the place is still very poorly explored, and therefore new space missions are expected to be launched in the next decades. During the whole period of exploring the Kuiper belt, many surprising bodies have been discovered: Sedna, Eris, Makemake, Quaoar, and many others. However, perhaps the most interesting and mysterious among them is the dwarf planet Haumea. It has a ring system, a tail, and even two small satellites. The first photos of Haumea appeared in 2003. Back then it was named 2003 EL61. Unaware of the existence of these photos, in 2004, just after Christmas, a group of astronomers, led by Mike Brown, discovered a celestial object about the size of Pluto. The astronomers named the object Santa. Another year later, while Mike Brown was preparing a report on the discovery of the celestial object, the same object, based on images from 2003, was studied by another team led by an astronomer Jose Luis Ortiz Moreno. It turned out that two independent groups of astronomers wanted to claim the discovery of the object. Of course, it did not come to the real fight, although the plot is worthy of a detective novel, don't you think so? In short, it resulted in the International Astronomical Union classifying it as the fifth largest dwarf planet in the solar system. The object got a new name, given to it in honor of the Hawaiian goddess of fertility and procreation, Haumea. Even during the first observation of Haumea, scientists noticed that it flickers, getting brighter and dimmer by about 25% every 3 hours. It was thought that, if it is round, then this is related to its rotation, but according to calculations and our assumptions of the rotation of the planets and celestial bodies, it would simply disintegrate into pieces, because one rotation in 3 hours is extremely fast. Most likely, Haumea is greatly elongated, which makes it appear to us as if it flickers. Haumea is the fastest rotating object in our solar system. A true champion, it is far ahead of the nearest challenger, Jupiter, whose rotation around its axis takes 9 hours and 50 minutes. Most likely, it is the speed that causes its unusual shape. At the equator, it spreads heavily to the sides. That is why Haumea looks like a kind of rugby ball. However, it is still too early to dwell definitively on the shape of this dwarf planet. Because of many reasons, including the rapid rotation, scientists have never been able to figure out the inclination of Haumea's axis of rotation to its orbital plane. But it is certainly not round. The orbit of Haumea is moderately elongated, with a semi-major axis of 42.98 astronomical units. The longest distance from Haumea to the Sun is 51.47 astronomical units, and the shortest is 34.49 astronomical units. Today, Haumea is approaching the star, and the entire period in which Haumea completes one trip around the Sun is 281.8 years. Haumea will reach its closest point around the Sun, perihelion, in around 2133. The mass of the object is almost 32% of the mass of Pluto, and 24% of Eris. According to the latest data, the average diameter of the planet is 926 miles. Measurements of the mass and dimensions of Haumea indicate that the average density of this planet is 2.5 times that of water. And since the outer layers of Haumea are ice, we must assume that a rocky core hides inside this world. What is Haumea made of? In 2005, a detailed study of the spectrum of the object was carried out with the Gemini and Keck telescopes. Most of the dwarf planet is covered with a crystalline structure of water ice. Many features in the ice surface indicate the presence of cyanogen and kaolinite, which belong to the phyllosilicate minerals. Well, now you know the main properties and features of the dwarf planet Haumea. It's time to move on to the most fascinating part. The most essential mystery of Haumea was discovered in 2009. A color anomaly was discovered on the surface in the form of a rather large red area. This intriguing detail made scientists puzzled. They can't yet say exactly what this area consists of and how it appeared. But there are several grounded assumptions. This red spot may represent an area rich in certain minerals or organic compounds. It may be the area with a high proportion of crystalline ice. The main surface of this object should be old amorphous ice. It can also be a trace of a collision with another space body. What if it is an imprint of the very colossal impact that caused Haumea's deformed shape and such a quick rotation? In this case, the spot may be a mixture of the material of the impactor and, possibly, the exposed inner layers of the planet. It has been 10 years since the discovery of this area, but there are no definitive explanations of its origin. But, later, other amazing aspects of Haumea were discovered. In that case, another star came in handy. In January 2017, when Haumea was passing the distant star Urat 1,533,182,543, astronomers made observations of it using several European observatories at once. Particular features of the eclipse of the star allowed, first of all, to clarify the dimensions of Haumea. On the long axis of the ellipsoid, it is 1,443 miles, on the short axis it is 1,059 miles. This observation also helped to discover that Haumea has a ring system like Saturn. The ring is about 40 miles wide and is at a radius of 1,421 miles from the dwarf planet. It rotates 3 times slower than the elongated planet. There is a belief that the fast rotation of the dwarf planet was caused by a collision with some other object. According to this theory, this collision left some debris in orbit, which formed the ring. The discovered satellites, which orbit around Haumea, may be the confirmation of the theory about the collision. There are 2 of them. They were discovered right after the discovery of Haumea. In 2008, they were officially named after the goddess daughters, Haumea and Namaka. Haumea is about 193 miles in diameter and orbits Haumea nearly circularly every 49 days. The dimmer satellite Namaka is roughly 106 miles in diameter, and it orbits Haumea in 18 days in a moderately elliptical orbit. When asteroids have a similar composition, satellites, rings, and a tail of debris, they are called a collisional family. The Haumea family is the only identified collisional family in the Kuiper belt. This is why it is so unique, because it is the whole system in the solar system. Of course, Haumea is the coolest object in the Kuiper belt. Everyone wants to visit Haumea, scientists say. But the telescopes only won't be enough for further studying of Haumea. This world is so small that the only way to get to know its secrets is to go and explore it. We'll expect more space missions, but in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn the notification on, so you don't miss new videos, because all the most interesting things are still to come.